Hello, and welcome back to the Fae Banner Review, where we talk about units. Yep, that's all we do here. Today, we have a brand new Fallen Banner featuring two very predictable characters, as well as male Alear and female Alear. Guys, I'm so funny and relatable, right? And as per tradition, I will be using this coveted line graph that may or may not be a line graph at the end of the day to rank the brand new Fallen Banner. Today's ranking will be based on how many units want the brand new arcane weapon, and if you want something brand new every time interval, then make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. First up, we have female Alear, and this was probably one of the more expected choices this time around. You can't really have a Fallen Banner without an avatar, am I right? You can, but that doesn't make any money, so let's see. Female Alear comes with Fell Child's Art, which is a slaying dual-phase brave dragonstone that inflicts upward of 15 debuffs to attack, defense, and res, reduces pierceable damage reduction by 50%, has built-in adaptive damage, grants a bunch of true damage and true damage reduction based on 20% of her res stat, and an additional amount of true damage reduction if she's hit with a special. She also comes with Fell Blast, which is a 3 cooldown special that boosts her damage by 50% of her res stat, has built-in distant counter, 40% damage reduction, and grants Fell Spirit to herself and allies at the start of each phase. And the Fell Spirit status inflicts -4 attack speed, defense, and res on the foe during combat, grants null counter disrupt, allows special damage reduction to work 2 times during combat instead of once, and inflicts another -2 attack speed, defense, and res on the foe during combat if either the unit or the foe is engaged. She's honestly pretty solid overall. She has really good roll compression because she's a savior that gives out decent support in extra stats and null counter disrupt, which is pretty big. Also, Ice Fjorm got a bit of a resurgence due to Yunaka, so releasing what's essentially an upgrade, or at the very least something comparable, will definitely lean in Alear's favor. Not to mention she doesn't need the Erica ring to beat out miracle nukes because of her innate brave, which is pretty nice. Hardy Bearing might still be required to beat her, but that depends on how often she can meet speed checks against her. I believe they both have similar speed stats, but one unit is prone to absurd levels of power creep due to being in a highly replaceable niche, and the other is named Yunaka, but you'll never find out who I'm talking about. Zappy! Female Alear also comes with Higher Ground, as well as 2 new skills in Diluvial Boost and Scowling Fighter. The Boost skill is basically the same thing as the one that Baby Corn came with, except this one grants attack instead of speed, but they both still grant defense and res. It's a pretty solid A slot for most armors, especially Marnie if you're looking to make Arena even more annoying for people. Meanwhile, Scowling Fighter is a dragon-exclusive fighter skill that inflicts attack and res penalties on the foe, grants true damage and true damage reduction based on 20% of the unit's res stat, has built-in breath, and scowl. And yeah, it sure is another one of those armor B slots that exist, but you know what isn't exclusive to dragon armors? That's right, Wily Fighter and Slick Fighter. What, did you think I was going to say Shield Fighter or something? Well, you'd be right, because it's still a really good B slot. And other than that, that sure is female Alear. She's probably the best unit we have on this banner, and before you say anything about spoilers, the title probably already gave that away. But if you didn't read the title and just clicked on the video because of Alear's stretched out face, then oops. Next, there's male Alear, and you know, I was just saying to myself, it's been a week since the last piece of Alear content. I sure hope they get something new soon. And what do you know, another male Alear, and please for the love of God, space them out more reasonably, IS. I'm going to live happily ever after at this rate. Let's see. Male Alear comes with Fell Child's Blade, which is a slaying weapon with stats, true stats, even more true stats. It reduces pierceable damage reduction by 50% and inflicts -5 attack speed, defense, and res, as well as nullifying all bonuses on foes within 3 rows and columns of Alear. He also comes with Bond Breaker, which grants Fell Spirit to himself and allies, and inflicts attack and speed debuffs, as well as Schism on the closest foes at the start of each phase, gets even more true stats, true damage reduction, distant counter, and miracle that now works once per combat instead of once per map. Would you rather have 1 Alear or 2 Alears? It's only been a bit over a year, but we basically got 3 male Alears that do the whole frontline miracle shtick, and I'm really wondering why they keep trying to one-up themselves so fast. At least this one is a bit more unique because he has more support as opposed to Winter, who seems to trade that for hitting harder during combat. and legendary who's just mediocre. Debuffs, bonus nullification, decent stat swings, nullsea, disrupt, and schism is a good amount of support, especially for a unit who can also perform well in combat. The miracle upgrade is also really nice since you'll always have a good safety net to fall back on. Except if you run into Emblem Sigurd, because Male Alear also comes with Gust, Odd Speed Wave, and Speed Defense Spiked Wall, which is like attack speed spiked wall except speed and defense. Yeah, it's overall decent fodder, and it going into the normal pool is pretty nice. Too bad you'll probably get pity broken by somebody with significantly worse fodder.
I am Cyrene.
And other than that, that sure is Male Alear. He's honestly not too shabby of a unit, especially on the support side, but I'm not sure if he's worth going out of your way for. But, you know, you could always do worse.
I'm worse.
Lena, no! Haha, ghastly. And then there's Lena, and she's a staff infantry unit this time around, which isn't any different from her debut version. But I had to include something here to introduce her, so why doesn't she have any shoes on? Let's see. Lena comes with Martyr's Staff, which is a slaying, wrathful staff that grants bonus doubler, penalty nullification, and attack and res bonuses to herself and allies within 3 spaces on each phase, inflicts a bunch of attack and res penalties on the foe during combat, gets a bunch of true damage based on active bonuses and penalties, that weird staff effect thing that only happens when Wrathful gets disabled, and I still don't know how it works, and grants even more attack and res bonuses to allies, as well as a miracle once per map. You know, Maria 2 years ago was really strong because she gave out Miracle, and seeing that again 2 years later made me realize that I really miss it when weapons were actually readable. Lena isn't bad per se, especially if you could get her Ice Lock and Call to Serve, but it feels somewhat locking, which is crazy because her weapon almost takes up the entire screen here. I don't know if it's because her support is lacking in any capacity, or the type of support she gives out, or that everything is just too competitive at the moment. Maybe I'm just poisoned by the state of the game, but that's okay because Attuned Micaiah removes 2 penalties at the start of each phase. Ha ha ha, I am so unfunny. But the one edge I'll give her over a lot of other units is that she's really good for players that like playing with one hand, but also with Elm in the game you could play without a brain too, so
I'll shut you up!
Lena also comes with Magic Shield Plus, Holy Pressure, Resonance, Pulse Ploy, and Attack Res Tidings, which is like attack speed tidings except attack and res. Yeah, it's more stuff for the normal pull, which isn't too bad at least, but there's not really anything else to say about it. And other than that, that sure is Lena. She's a decent support unit, but she's most likely just banner bait, and trust me, I know bait when I see it. And that's why I spent over 100 orbs on the Marth and Elm banner. And last on the banner is Dedue, and he's a rearmed unit this time around. And not just a rearmed unit, but a rearmed unit for the most niche unit typing in the entire game. Swords are dying out here, man. Let's see. Dedue comes with Arcane Crest, which is a slaying beast armor weapon that grants a bunch of stats, penalty neutralization, true damage, and true damage reduction based on 50% of his attack stat, a special jump of 1 before his first attack, and distant counter when transformed. Dedue also comes with a pure FC slot in for the True King, which is a far save skill that also allows him to be a near save to any ally he supports, or for any ally with the highest attack stat within 4 spaces. He can teleport to said ally regardless of where he is on the map, get some extra stats during combat, true stats, a special jump of 1 before his first attack, and he can get DR from his special 2 times in 1 combat. I really have nothing to say on the weapon that I haven't said in the past 7 trailers that featured an arcane weapon. Whoa, a special jump of 1, true damage, and true damage reduction? Where have I seen that before? I will say though that this is the first arcane weapon that most people probably didn't ask for because it's so niche. But just in case, hi guys, Z here. I put together an extensive list of units that really want the arcane weapon. It only took me 20 seconds to put it together because there's only 7 beast armors in the entire game, but the time is always worth it for you guys. Especially the subscribers. The first tier consists of Kainagus, and yeah, that's it, because his weapon isn't that good anymore. At least he's not screwed out of a newer weapon because of his beast status, so that's nice. The second tier consists of Fallen Edelgard, and that's only because she doesn't have a refine yet, but give it a month or 2 and she'll probably be in the third tier of Lamau. Did you know that most of the beast armors came out in the span of 1 month only a few months ago? And that's all for the arcane tier list. I hope this helped at least one person because I'm very doubtful this is groundbreaking information. Take it away, Z. Thank you, Z. So yeah, Dedue can trigger Savior within 4 spaces. This effectively makes Dedue the first unit that can Omni-Save, and I'm kinda surprised it took this long for them to do this, let alone increase the Savior range. It does require either an ally support or it targets the unit with the highest attack stat, but the idea of running a team that's attack matching is the funniest idea ever. So not only do you have a far save that can protect everybody, but you also have a giant near save radius that can also warp around the map, because sure, why not? It's also really funny seeing that he could warp to an ally regardless of where he is on the map, so that combined with his 2 special jumps means that he could just and hit you with 2 sturdy beasts. And that sure sounds scary in theory. But he's rocking an arcane weapon while being in armor, so I question how effective he'll really be in the end. He might be able to take some hits, but considering all the nukes we have right now, I'm not exactly confident in it. But hey, worst case scenario, you could just fodder him off to basically nobody.
Blue Lion's house. Dimitri?
Dedue also comes with Sturdy Beast, Attack Defense Fortune, and a brand new beast slot in Assault Fighter, which inflicts attack and defense debuffs on the foe during combat, grants true damage and true damage reduction based on 20% of the unit's defense stat, a guaranteed follow-up, and reduces pierceable damage reduction by 50%. Yeah, that sure is a fighter skill, alright. It's just another fighter skill to add to the list of options that you probably won't use over Shield Fighter, but if you wanted to, then Assault Fighter isn't a bad choice, so long as you don't have the other strictly better options lying around. But it's not like we have a free copy of Wily Fighter 4 fodder just lying around. I definitely don't, at least. And other than that, that sure is Dedue. He might be better than what I'm currently letting on, but I'm not exactly sure to what degree. At the very least, if he's not a premier tank, then he could always just... We also have Fafnir as our Grand Hero battle unit this time around, which is surprising because I thought they hated Book 5. They probably still do, but better now than never, I guess. It'll most likely be the version of him that came from the story mode where he's all transformed and fallen. You know, because it's a fallen banner. His weapon is also so old at this point that they'll probably upgrade it to be something actually decent by 2023 standards. Or maybe they'll just keep it the same way so they could sell you the new arcane. Actually, that's a really smart idea because now they could just sell the Fafnir fans on this banner. IS, you should hire me. But I'd imagine that few Fafnir fans would really hate that. Hi guys, post-editing Z here. It turns out he's a dragon, so that can't actually happen. But it would have been really funny if IS to do something like that. And yeah, we literally know nothing else about him. He's at least a dragon armor, so he can only be so bad, right? Knowing IS, they could definitely make it worse than bad, because they're pretty good at doing stuff like that. And now that we've gone over the brand new Fallen units, I think it's time we rank the banner on the line graph that may or may not be a line graph at the end of the day. And would you look at that? The brand new Fallen banner has earned a 1 out of 10 on the line graph. Or maybe it should be a 1 out of 8 because we don't even have 10 beast armors. Who asked for this arcane weapon? And you may be wondering to yourself, is this banner bad? And ha ha ha, tee hee tee hee 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 ha ha ha. Kinda sorta, it's fine I guess, but you probably should consider not summoning on it. It's surprising to say, but I feel like this banner is actually skippable. None of these units are bad per se, but I don't think any of them are anything noteworthy outside of female Alear. She's honestly a pretty decent armor if you're in need of one of those, and she has nice roll compression with her support, but even then you don't really need to go for her. Same thing with male Alear, although him being infantry does make it less enticing over female Alear, but he does have more support than her at least. Lena also has goodish support too, given the 3-space miracle and whatnot, but it being once per map as opposed to Rhea's once per turn doesn't help its case, and you might be better off waiting for her rerun instead. And Dedue sure is an armor that can warp in your face. He can duplicate, Sturdy Beast, I guess. That's definitely worth the orbs instead of Marth and Elm for sure. But yeah, the banner is fine, which in Fate terms means bad, so you can skip it, and you probably won't regret it, TBH. 2BH. To be quite H. Until they drop Pass Echo a month later for Dedue, but other than that...